Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video, we are going to be discussing a peculiar scene in Ninjago Seabound's earlier episodes that may in fact hint towards the actual plot of Ninjago Season 16, or whatever you want to call the 2022 Ninjago story. Whether you want to call it Season 15 or Season 16 doesn't really matter to me, but still, this topic very much intrigues me. Recently, I've been rewatching Ninjago Seabound courtesy of United States Netflix, and all of the episodes are currently available to view on there in HD. It's actually quite magnificent. But during my rewatch, I noticed something specific about the opening sequence of episode 1 of Seabound that caused me to think that perhaps Ninjago was laying the groundwork for future events with this particular scene. And I would like to discuss that in today's video. For a couple of quick disclaimers, nothing I'm going to say in this video is 100% confirmed unless I say otherwise, so keep that in mind. This is mainly just a theory or speculative video on my end. And also, because sometimes theories turn out to be true, I should probably give a mild spoiler warning. This isn't really a video filled with explicit spoilers for the future of Ninjago. However, just because there's a chance that these theories might turn out to be correct, once again, this is your official spoiler warning. So the episode in question of Ninjago Seabound is of course the first episode, A Big Splash, and the scene I would like to analyze is actually right at the beginning. The sequence itself involves the villain known as Misdemeanor. She's sort of like a lower level Ninjago bad guy, not really too major to the story right now. Anyway, she's in charge of 3 cargo trucks, and during the scene she is supposed to be meeting somebody to pass on the contents of the truck to them. Now of course this whole transaction gets interrupted by the ninja, who proceed to destroy 2 of the trucks and chase Misdemeanor away. However, Misdemeanor does indeed escape with one of the trucks still intact. After analyzing the other 2 trucks that they had destroyed, the ninja are confused to find out that Vengestone is the contents of the cargo overall. We as an audience of course know what this is all about. If you guys remember back during Master of the Mountain, one of the biggest plot points during that season was King Vangelis, otherwise known as the Skull Sorcerer, gathering large quantities of Vengestone from Shintaro's dungeons to do something. So you can see where these storylines would connect in that way. The ninja report back to Master Wu at the ninja headquarters, and Wu is unfortunately not super happy with the ninja, because Misdemeanor ultimately escaped this entire situation. The ninja failed to capture her, and as such she escaped with one of the trucks still intact, presumably containing Vengestone as well. The confusion is once again brought up though, because Master Wu is even stumped over this whole thing. Why exactly is Vengestone being transported? One of the biggest lines that stuck with me throughout this entire sequence was when Master Wu says something along the lines of, "Why would they be carrying Vengestone? Vengestone has very few practical uses." That line stuck out to me, and it was even used by series creator Tommy Andreasen as a hint towards the future. Vengestone has very few practical uses. I believe this entire scene foreshadows the events to come. What exactly Vengestone is being used for, and what the Vengestone buyer may be up to, is currently unknown. However, I think it's highly likely that the Vengestone buyer was supposed to be meeting Misdemeanor in this specific location until the ninja interfered. We don't really know a lot about the Vengestone buyer. It's currently a mystery who he or she could be, but if this scene is anything to go off of, their ultimate goal may have been revealed right here. The goal to use Vengestone for some type of large practical use, as foreshadowed by Master Wu's words of confusion. Vengestone by default is a mineral found in Ninjago that cancels or restricts elemental powers. As such, we've seen various things like handcuffs and prisons be forged from Vengestone to cancel out the ninja's powers and make it more difficult for them to escape. But other than prisons, shackles, and other things, what else has Vengestone been used for? Not much. However, despite this, I believe the line from Master Wu, "Vengestone has very few practical uses," that line was most likely not a throwaway line, and instead is going to be used to foreshadow new practical uses of Vengestone that will show up in future Ninjago storylines. In fact, more practical uses for Vengestone may have already been shown to us through Ninjago leaks for upcoming children's books. This infamous Ninjago leak was discussed by several people across the Ninjago community, and we even talked about it here on the channel a few times already, but these weird orange snake guys are very much rumored to be the new villains for Ninjago 2022. As you can see, their coloring definitely suggests a Vengestone connection, because Vengestone in the Ninjago series often glows a yellow or orangish color, very similar to the color of these new Serpentine bad guys. Also worth pointing out, the Serpentine's armor does appear to be more heavy in terms of a design. Perhaps the armor is constructed by Vengestone, and if so, that in and of itself is another practical use for Vengestone that we really haven't seen prior. I believe the foreshadowing setup in Ninjago Seabound was purposely designed to deceive the audience and the ninja themselves. Both the audience and the characters in the show feel the same level of confusion. It's true that there are very few practical uses for Vengestone right now, but if these new orange snake villains are indeed connected to Vengestone, I believe we can see a couple of new practical uses for the mineral in the near future for Ninjago. In terms of other practical uses for Vengestone, you could come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. The Ninjago series is by no means focused on attempting to capture reality. We could see Vengestone being used to create massive vehicles or stronger weapons, and if you look back to Master of the Mountain, you could see a lot of these concepts actually play into that storyline too, with Vengestone spears being used by various members of Vangelis's army. The same thing could be said about the Minos that live in the dungeons of Shintaro. During multiple scenes that take place in the Shintaro dungeons, you can see that the Mino are wearing Vengestone style armor, which is more than likely 100% pure Vengestone. So when thinking about it, it really wouldn't be that far off to suggest that maybe the Vengestone buyer could be borrowing these concepts from King Vangelis and providing his army with stronger Vengestone weapons and more convenient Vengestone armor. He's essentially borrowing the plans of the Skull Sorcerer, but upgrading them for his own needs, whatever that may be. I feel like that's going to be very important to the storyline moving forward and could in fact be the focus of Ninjago 2022, Vengestone being used for more practical uses and used in more creative situations. As mentioned in previous videos, the goal of the Vengestone buyer could in fact be to create an unstoppable army that the ninja and other elemental masters would have a hard time defeating. This could even work out in the ninja's favor as well. If the Vengestone buyer does indeed make armor made entirely of Vengestone, who's to say the ninja couldn't give that to somebody like Nia, who at this point in time is practically taken over by her elemental power. Giving Nia Vengestone armor could suppress her powers and make her normal again. This could allow her to return to human form or maybe even switch between the two. Who's to say? Either way, I feel like in Ninjago Season 16, or whatever you want to call the 2022 installment of Ninjago, we will see Vengestone do a lot of crazy things that we may not have thought were possible before. Master of the Mountain supplied all of the clues, while Seabound laid the groundwork even further through foreshadowing and careful wording and dialogue. By the time Ninjago Season 16 comes out, I feel like we will all be very surprised as to what tricks and strategies the Vengestone buyer has up his or her sleeves. So thank you so much for checking out today's video, you guys. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Leave a comment down below talking about what you personally think Vengestone will be used for in the future of Ninjago. What other practical uses could Vengestone be used for? And what do you think the Vengestone buyer's ultimate goal is? Leave all your thoughts down below, and hopefully you enjoyed today's video. That'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description from other forms of social media. Thank you all so very much for checking out today's video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.